Good evening. I'm Lonnie Stonich, the Executive Director of FAN, and I am so excited about this incredible night, a conversation between Kahran and Regis Bethencourt and Natalie Moore. Thanks for attending. FAN is a nonprofit organization that presents a high-quality speaker series offered free to the public on a wide variety of topics, including human development, mental health, education, and social justice, among many others. We have over 100 videos of past events archived on our website and YouTube channel, so please be sure to explore. So just to give you a framework for tonight's event, we're going to start with a short presentation by Kahran and Regis Bethencourt, and then they're going to be joined by Natalie Moore after about maybe 15 minutes or so. And then later, we're going to have the pleasure to welcome Kaylee Hope Townsend, who is featured on the cover of the new book. She's joining us tonight for this Zoom, which is going to be so exciting. And so now, formal introductions. Kahran and Regis Bethencourt are a husband and wife duo and the imaginative force behind CreativeSoul Photography. With more than 10 years of working with hundreds of children's families and brands, they specialize in child and lifestyle photography while incorporating authentic visual storytelling. The Bethencourt's new coffee table book, Glory, Magical Vision of Black Beauty, puts Black beauty front and center with more than 100 breathtaking photographs and a collection of powerful essays about the children. At its heart, it is a recognition and celebration of the versatility and innate beauty of Black hair and Black beauty. Natalie Moore is an award-winning journalist based in Chicago, whose enterprise reporting tackles race, housing, economic development, food injustice, violence, segregation, and inequality. Her work has been broadcast on the BBC, Marketplace, and NPR's Morning Edition, All Things Considered, and Weekend Edition. She is the author of The South Side, A Portrait of Chicago and American Segregation, winner of the 2016 Chicago Review of Books Award for Nonfiction, and a BuzzFeed Best Nonfiction Book of 2016. Ms. Moore also writes a monthly column for the Chicago Sun-Times. So ladies and gentlemen, now let's welcome Kahran and Regis Bethencourt.
Hey,
Hi,
everybody.
everyone. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Fan, for having us. We are so excited to be here today. We are just super excited to finally have our baby out, Glory, and to be able to share it with you all. And this is actually the first time that we've had the opportunity to share a little bit of background info about us and about our photography company. So we're going to share our screen and just share a little bit of info about some of the shoots that we did, as well as inspirations, so that you guys have a little bit of background before we start the actual interview. So give me 1 second, I'm going to share my screen. All right. So hopefully you guys can all see my screen now. But again, I'm Kahran and
I'm Regis.
we are a husband and wife duo of CreativeSoul Photography. We've been at this, gosh, about I think 11 years now. And we like to say that we are more than just photographers. We're on a mission to shatter the current standards of beauty and to empower particularly kids of color around the world to embrace their beauty and uniqueness and creativity. So one of the things that we do is capture Black childhood. You know, I sometimes, well, I hear a lot of parents say, I wish I had these types of images growing up. You know, we didn't have a lot of these positive images that we could see that, you know, showcased just really beautiful, positive reflections of ourselves. So that's one of the things that we're aiming to do with our photography. So, you know, this one particular this is one of the images in our book. And, you know, just growing up in the South, in the church, you know, was one of the things that, you know, that was just kind of an inspiration for me. And so I wanted to share that, you know, with our audience. So, you know, this particular image, you know, there are certain things that were definitely done on purpose. You know, the 4 little girls in the church was definitely, you know, just kind of, you know, just kind of bringing up the 4 little girls from the church bombing, but I wanted to do it in a way that really, you know, was not so gloom and doom, and, you know, really just spoke to the innocence that was taken away from those 4 little girls during that time. So it's, you know, our way of kind of taking something that was, you know, obviously horrific, and to, you know, just, you know, show a different side of that, and show, you know, tell the story in a way that we wanted to share it. We also celebrate Black culture. So, you know, we like to showcase visions of not only the past, but also the present. And then also, you know, daring to think about the future as well. You know, what can our future look like? You know, we love themes of Afrofuturism, and just being able to think about, you know, just creative things outside of the box, whether it's clothing or hairstyles. You know, that's one of our favorite things to do. And also just shattering existing stereotypes. So this was one of the shoots that we did actually in London. And it was kind of our take on a Victorian style or Queen of England type shoot. And, you know, we collaborated with a designer, Sarah Bunn, out of Brooklyn, who has these amazing Afro-Victorian pieces that she creates. And, you know, really, we just wanted to tell our stories in our own way. Also highlighting cultural traditions. So we know that, you know, I have 3 younger brothers, so I knew that, you know, the barbershop was, you know, kind of a rites of passage for many young men. And so, you know, that's one of the things that we highlight in the book as well, you know, highlighting boys as well as girls, but showcasing, you know, some of the things that they go through as well. Also, in terms of highlighting cultural traditions, this was one in Kenya, and we wanted to pay homage to the Maasai culture there. And so one of the ways that we do that was that we actually, you know, took some of the inspiration from the Maasai culture in terms of the fashion, but made it more modern so that kids could appreciate it, right? I think a lot of times kids, you know, they kind of, not look down on, but they just kind of don't think about, you know, traditions of the past, and, you know, they want everything new. But I think that there's a way to kind of bridge that gap and have them really appreciate some of the traditions that our ancestors have paid for us. Another thing is just highlighting some of the different kids' stories. So we highlight so many different kids. These 2 girls are activists in their own right. On the left is Zuleika Patel in South Africa, who is a young, I think she's about 17 now, but she was around 15, 16 at the time. And she was protesting in South Africa to be able to wear her own natural hair in schools in South Africa. And, you know, just her courage and, you know, her being able to stand up to the administrators in the schools there was something that we wanted to highlight. And then Trinity Simone is actually a girl that we've worked with here in Georgia for many years, but she has been, you know, just really, she started a business, Black Vibe Tribe, where she's, you know, just celebrating Black culture, as well as starting a program where she is bringing books to prisoners here in Georgia. One of the things that we wanted to do in our book as well was have really just a variety of stories. So, you know, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, and showcase, you know, just realness and beauty in all of it. Rebecca is a young girl that we met in Ghana. She lives in an area called Jamestown in Ghana, which is a very poor area there. And, you know, I just really wanted to showcase her innocence, her beauty, and, you know, just her strength of everything that she has to deal with. You know, her family is there and they're, you know, not able to afford for her to go to school. She has to work. They don't have lights or running water. And so, you know, really wanting to showcase the variety. You know, we have that juxtaposed to DJ Switch in Ghana, who is a little, you know, a little girl who is a DJ, a 10-year-old DJ there, who's been around the world. So we wanted to showcase both sides. Sanaa is actually a young girl who just aspires to be a fashion designer. And so, you know, we wanted to share her story. Amoy is, at the time, she was an 8-year-old neuroscience expert. And so, you know, we used some photo manipulation to, you know, kind of make her into a robot. But that's something that we'll talk about a little bit later. And then Kaylee, who we'll be talking about later. Kaylee will be joining us this afternoon as our cover girl. And one of the reasons why we chose Kaylee for our cover was because, to me, she kind of represented our everyday around the way girl, right? And I love that about her. You know, she's, you know, an honor roll student. She loves, you know, she's kind of, to me, like a little Renaissance woman. And, you know, she may not have some of the recognition that some of the other kids have, but, you know, we wanted to showcase beauty in just everyday kids. And then people often ask about some of our early influences. So I wanted to just kind of quickly go through just a little bit of things that have influenced us in the past. So I attended an HBCU, I attended Clark Atlanta University, and obviously that, you know, just played a huge part in my life. And so I often use HBCU life as an influence. This was our schoolgirl shoot. I think this was 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this was one that, you know, really just kind of started our career. Greek life. And then, you know, I went to school for computer science. And so I've always been interested in girls and learning about STEM and technology. And so that's something that kind of plays a part in our photography. Reg and I both were into graphic design. That's actually how we met. And so that, you know, comes across in our photography as well. We sometimes incorporate graphic design. This was something that Reg created, you know, for a little boy who loved Batman. And so, you know, Reg kind of merged a toy Batmobile with the photo to make this really cool shot. Same with the dolls. You know, this was a dollhouse project that we did. Childhood memories for the both of us, really just incorporating any of our childhood memories. This was our roller skate girl shoot, which was, I would say, the shoot that really kind of completely transformed our business, which was around 2013, 2014. Harlem Girls, beauty shop. And then, you know, we got into the Afro art series. And so we really just started to travel to different countries. I mean, we started with different cities in the US, and then we extended that to other countries around the world. And we were basically just traveling and doing different themed shoots wherever we went. So every city we would do a different theme, whether it was steampunk or, you know, it could be around a color, like New York, this was black and white. You know, it could be, this was Afro-Victorian theme, warriors. So we were just kind of doing different themes with each city. And so now that was kind of the preface to our glory book, was when we started to do these more kind of serious portrait style photos. And, oh, sorry. One of the things that I wanted to end on is just saying that these are more than just photos. You know, these kids really, you know, just look at themselves in a different light after seeing this. And one of the things that we love is for them to be able to see themselves. And so I wanted to end on this little short video snippet of just some of the kids' reactions to seeing their own photos.
Yep. I know what it is. I know what it is. Oh, I knew it. Oh my God.
What is it?
It's my picture when I did my photo shoot in Atlanta like 1 week ago.
Wow. So Brooke, I couldn't wait till your birthday, but here's your present.
And It's me, Mommy. It's me. Thank you. So I was thinking maybe we just put it right up here. Look at that. Just
So yeah, so with that, we wanted to turn it back over to Natalie and have her start the interview.
There we go.
There we go. Sorry. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, the old person.
Right. I felt like I was 85 for a minute.
Wow. Well, welcome to Chicago virtually. So great to be here with you this evening. Those photographs are just beautiful. And for those of you who don't have the book, it's even better. That's just a snippet of what's in there. And I have really enjoyed looking at it with my 4-year-old at night. She says, "Can we look at the fashion book now?"
That's so cool. That's
so
awesome.
If you come to Chicago,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to do a photo shoot with her, please.
Sure.
But before we get into the book, also HBCU love, I went to Howard.
Awesome.
Just want to know a little bit about the two of you. How did you get into photography?
Yeah.
Oh. And well, it kind of started when we were doing long distance. I think we
were dating long distance.
Yeah, we were dating.
Yeah.
We were dating long distance for about a year, and when we came to visit each other, we would do these photo dates. So like we would just go and take all these pictures of each other, so we would have them for when we leave. And that's kind of how we got into starting, just taking the pictures. But I got into photography when we moved to Atlanta. Was it maybe
2006?
Yeah.
And you went to school.
And I went to school for photography. And then we started our business maybe 2009 or 2010.
2009.
Yeah, Kahran was like, why do we have to wait until you finish school? Let's just start this right now.
Yeah, so.
We started it in her mother's garage. And I remember that day we had I think she invited some kids to come over that she knew.
Yeah.
And we had about 4 kids there. And those pictures were
gruesome
at the time.
Yeah, were horrible. But that's how we started.
Yeah.
So I learned along with him while he was still in school. So, we just really started it while he was in college.
Did you all know that you wanted children to be the focus from the get-go?
No, definitely not. So yeah, when we first started out, we were doing a little bit of everything. So we were photographing pretty much anything people would pay us for.
Right.
So it was weddings and babies and you name it, whatever it was, we were shooting. And I was still working at the time, working in corporate America. And after a few years, it just came a point in time where I was like, why are we going to build a business that we're going to hate, right? It's like, I can stay at the desk for this, right? So, that's when, that was kind of our light bulb moment. And we just started to get rid of some of the things that we didn't like to shoot. We knew that we were always, we loved our shoots with kids that we had done. We were always, even with a family shoot, we were taking the kids to the side and,
spending extra half an hour to an hour with them.
Coming up with creative concepts with kids. And, at the time, I didn't really know that we could even make a living from just photographing kids, but we just knew that we had a passion for it. So we just decided to try it out.
What was the genesis for the Glory coffee table book?
So basically our Afro art series, kind of started it. So our Afro art series, after we had kind of transitioned into mainly photographing kids with natural hair, we did that for a few years. We were, a lot of our shoots were like environmental shoots. So like outdoors on location with groups, that type of thing. And we decided to do some shots in studio that was focused on the beauty and versatility of Afro hair. And so once we did that, we, just started to visit cities all over. Like I said, we started going to cities across the US. And once we did that for about a year, a blogger had asked us to, if she could share the series, and she shared it. The series went viral, and that was kind of the start of everything for us. And so at that time, that's when Macmillan or St. Martin's found us, and the publisher Monique just actually came to us and said, "Look, she said that I don't have kids at the time right now, but I need these for my future kids. Let's make this happen." And so that's really, how we started. And so for Glory, we wanted to kind of take it a little bit further than just hair. And we wanted it to be a book that would obviously include styling, include fashion, include hair, but really dig a little bit deeper into each child's story.
Was there a guiding question or guiding light for you as you were working on the book, something that you knew that you were, beyond, yes, you wanted to counter some of the images, but to keep it organized and tight, how did you think about the project?
Yeah, so one of the main things was I really wanted to have a wide variety of kids. Like I really, one of the things that I wanted a kid to be able to take away is for them to be able to see themselves reflected somehow. So whether they were rich or poor, whether they were, super intelligent, and they had all of these accolades, or, didn't have any at all, I wanted them to be able to see themselves reflected in the book. And so for me, it was about having that variety, I could have easily, we had worked with a lot of kids that, had major followings on social media or, some of that. And a lot of times people kind of tend to go to the kids that are already, kind of promoted. But I really wanted to have a wide variety. I wanted, that mix of kids that, were not well known, just everyday kids, to, the ones that have really, made a name for themselves at an early age. I wanted kids to be able to just see the variety so that they could have something to aspire to.
There are some really impressive children in this book.
Yes.
I'm like, how?
Yes.
But how did you find them, and how did you make the decisions to? I'm sure that there were so many you could choose from. The kids who are, who didn't have the kinds of resumes, but reflected, Black childhood that you wanted to depict. But yeah, how did you make those decisions?
Yeah, it was really a mix. Some of them, I found, I'm kind of like crazy in terms of, whenever I see a kid that I think is unique or doing something really special on social media, sometimes I save them, for maybe a possible future project. But also since we've been, doing this for a while, we've had kids that we already knew of, that we had shot with before, or that we thought would, work for this project. So it really was a mix. It was a mix between us kind of going out and searching for them. Also, when we travel, one of the good things about, now that we've kind of made connections in some of the other countries and locations is that, we're able to kind of lean on our partners in other locations as well, so that they can kind of give us guidance. Like for instance, when we were in Kenya, I only knew one model at the time there, but that one model was able to connect me with a stylist, and then the stylist was able to connect me with, other kids that were, that we could use for the book. So yeah, it's really a combination.
You all told me that you have, I think, 11 nieces and nephews, right?
Way too many. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
No kids of our own. Plenty to borrow. Yes.
Did they influence your work at all?
I would say definitely yes. One of the things that I was the first one in my family to go to college, and even, just first one being an entrepreneur. So this was a lot of, kind of first for me in terms of, setting a pathway for my nieces and nephews. And I wanted them to be able to see, just outside of what they've seen. My family is, in Greenville, South Carolina, not a huge, a super huge town. And a lot of times I know for me growing up, I didn't have a lot of, just examples of Black excellence around me. So it was important for them, to be able to see that. My nephew now has turned 21, and he just recently opened up his apparel shop, trying to be an entrepreneur. So that to me just, tells me that, they're watching, right? They watch everything that we're doing. And so, I want, even with this book, for them to be inspired and for them to, just see the possibilities.
Were you thinking about any specific images of your childhood that you wanted to counter? And did you see anything your nieces and nephews were experiencing in pop culture that gave you some other fuel to do this book?
I don't know about from my childhood that I was wanting to counter, but definitely with our nieces, for sure. Growing up in South Carolina, my niece is still, to this day, we've had the conversations with my niece about, thinking that straight hair was better or blonde hair was better, or, her skin tone and things like that. So, that was definitely something that we're always trying to show them and show them just variety, and show them, that, all of it is beauty, right? Because
not only that, but as being a man, I have to let them see that I can support that as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah. So it's definitely something that we are constantly thinking about and, showing them because a lot of times they're, not seeing that or not getting that.
So yesterday I was on a call with my daughter's preschool teacher who was looking at her unit for Black history. And it's funny because I had just bought her this book for Christmas. And ended up telling her that I bought it for her because we were talking about complexion and how, these are 2, 3, and 4-year-olds, how the idea, when they hear Black, they think of something the color of a cast iron skillet, and they don't want to be that. And so they just say brown. And I was like, well, I actually bought you this book that I think could help because there's nothing wrong with being the color of a cast iron skillet either. And so, with all these influences, whether it's Disney or, I have a personal vendetta against Elsa in my house.
Right. We hear that all the time. That's probably the number one. We hear so many parents that are like, my child tells me that they want blonde hair or, long blonde hair like Elsa, right? And I remember my niece, I remember my mom calling me, what was it, a couple of years ago for Christmas, and telling me that my niece did not want, she was asking my niece what she wanted for Christmas, and she did not want any Black dolls, right? And that was just, we were all like, oh my God, what do you mean? But seriously, at an early, you don't really think about it, but in an early age, we try to reinforce it, but I think just all the outside influences, you never know, what they're thinking in their head. So, you have to kind of constantly show them these images and show them positive representations so that they can kind of develop that strong sense of pride and self-love at an early age.
Right. And as I was thinking about, I always use Disney as the strong man, but that conversation made me think about the colorism within our own communities and how when there are Black dolls or they're talking about their own complexions, it's the darker is seen as bad. And I appreciated this book showing, it's from albino to, to Black.
Yes, the spectrum. We try really, really hard, and we've always done that. We've tried really hard to show that variety because we want everyone to to see that beauty and to feel like they're represented.
You've traveled all over the world. Not just big global African cities, but in rural places. How did you decide those places? And was that travel that you were doing before the book, or did the publisher give you carte blanche and say you can go anywhere in the world that you want?
Yeah. So it was actually interesting. So I left my full-time job in 2016, and one of the reasons that I finally was because I worked basically for 7 years before finally leaving, because it was just a long journey for us. I knew that once I left, that was it. It was both of us, right? And there was no turning back. So once I made that leap, one of the reasons that I wanted to jump was because, our dreams were kind of bigger than the US. I knew that I wanted to travel and do other things and really reach kids outside of the US, and knew that I couldn't do that on 15 vacation days, right? And so literally, I think about a month after I left was when I don't know why we had this crazy idea to do what we called our world tour. And so we visited and shot in 8 countries in about 35 days, which was insane. And we had, I think with the exception of Ghana, I had been to Ghana before, but with the exception of everywhere else, we had never even been to any of those places before. So we did London and Paris, we did Amsterdam, South Africa, Ghana, Cuba. We just went everywhere. Yeah. And I would say that was kind of us throwing ourselves into the fire. Like we had to sink or swim. Like we had to, reach out and make connections with designers and find our own kids. And, it was, some of it was, research, and some of it was just really, honestly, a little bit of luck.
Can you give an example of one of the countries, like yes, from start to finish, how that
Yes, so I'll give you guys an example of Cuba, right? Which was really challenging. I knew that we'd always wanted to visit Cuba, and this was when it was still open, but it was, there it's the internet access is pretty limited. So it wasn't like there are a lot of people there that are on social media that I could reach out to. So I had all I knew was I kind of had the vision in our head about what we wanted to shoot, and the style that we wanted in terms of fashion. I had no idea who we were going to shoot. And so we literally went there on faith. And we were like, just crazy people going around, with our Google Translate app. Yeah.
Just keep in mind that, they're very strict about, like their child trafficking.
Yeah. So we were like really nervous. Yeah, we were really nervous. So we went to a market, and I saw this guy who had a big afro. And I was like, wait, maybe he knows someone, and literally it was just like conversation. So we were, talking, asking, showing him our work, showing him what we did. He linked us up to a vendor there, and she actually, somehow magically delivered these perfect 6-year-old twins, Afro-Cuban twins, who happened to fit our pieces perfectly. And we did the shoot, right? So, it was, from that to, in London, we had actually had some connections, just kids that I had known, just through social media, their parents, and linked up with them before, that we were able to connect with and shoot there. And I was able to connect with designers that were there. So some were a bit easier, some were harder, just depending on resources and access to resources. But I would say that was, I look back now and I'm like, I'm so glad that we did that on our own before, we did the Glory Book, because we were able to step out there and, learn and make mistakes on our own. And, we were able to make connections with people before actually having to do that for the Glory Book. So, when it came time to do the Glory Book, we kind of knew, we already had connections in some of these places. We added Kenya because that was something that a place that we wanted to visit. And we knew a couple of people there, but for the most part, I would say our world tour was, just a big help in terms of travel and having connections.
Who were some of your collaborators? Because I'm assuming you all aren't doing the hair, or the styling. How does all of this come together?
Oh gosh, yeah. So we work with so many different talented hairstylists and designers. So the designer for the cover, it was actually out of Chicago, Alicia Akers, and she is actually someone that she's kind of, I call her our secret weapon. We've been working with her for years, and she's able to really just, we all are like 3 peas in a pod, right? So we, if I say, hey Alicia, I really want to do something with bubble wrap, can you make me a bubble wrap dress? Like, she can do it, right? The cover piece actually that Kaylee is in, she actually created that, and it was like a $10 plain green dress, and she added this really elaborate collar, and made it look like a $500 piece, right? And that was actually another reason why we chose that for the cover, was because that's kind of representing our style. We often didn't have the resources to afford some of the elaborate pieces, but a lot of times we'll take inexpensive pieces and pull them together and make something beautiful. So we work with her. We work with Shauna Thomason, who did the hair for the cover, as well as many of the pieces throughout the book. That's our hairstylist here in Atlanta. Ricky Kish in Kenya is amazing, who did just amazing styles there in Kenya. These are stylists that I had followed for a while, had never met, but just through social media, we were able to connect. I think that's one thing that I love about social media, is being able to make connections that I know that we, would not have been able to have without that. So, we're really able to, just collaborate with people that we probably would never be able to before.
We take so much pride, and it makes me so happy that we're able to give people a platform to be seen.
Yeah, that's awesome too. Yeah. Because there's so many, one of the things that we noticed when we got into the kids fashion. So when we first started to photograph kids, we decided to get into the kids fashion industry because we thought we could be a little bit more creative there. And one of the things that we noticed was at the time it wasn't very diverse. And number two, a lot of the kids fashion magazines, they were kind of using the same designers, and kind of the usual people that were on, kind of on their list. And we knew that there were so many amazing like Black designers and jewelry makers and stylists that were out there that were not being used. And so we started to, really just branch out and do our own thing and reach out to some of those people to collaborate.
Where is your artistic practice now? Are you all, COVID notwithstanding, are you all still looking at doing, baby showers or, individual kid shoots, or are you moving more into fine art? And
so right now, I would say probably about 90% of what we are doing right now are, just child shoots, basically. So parents come to us and they say, hey, I want my child in a shoot like this. And, we say it's for the kids, it's a big play date for them, right? They get to dress up and, get hair and makeup and styling and everything else. And they are able to, just have an experience that they've never had before. We usually ask them, the parents, to fill out a questionnaire in the beginning. We say, if your child could have the shoot of their dreams, what type of shoot would they have? And then we will, Reg is laughing because we get some really pretty interesting.
Like what?
Oh gosh. Yeah, we've had one girl wanted to be a superhero ballerina. We had one girl.
Sounds normal.
Yes, right.
But it keeps us on our toes.
Yes, because we're always trying to think like, oh my gosh, how are we going to pull this off, right?
I'm like, did my daughter email you? Because that's like superhero ballerina. I hear that. That's pretty normal.
And every time we're thinking like we have one coming up this weekend, and she asked for a fire theme. And even though it sounds really cool, I'm thinking like, how can I make this a really cool shoot, that's fire, but still like kid appropriate. And so, again, I'm collaborating with Alicia. She created this. I can't wait. I can't wait. To show this like amazing dress that she created. So, it's just little things like that. So I actually, for me right now, this is our happy space, right? Like, we're kind of away from the industry. We don't have the pressures of that. And I am enjoying this right now. Like, now it's just us and our clients. And, we are just really making kids' dreams come true.
And we're doing
what we love. Yeah. And then the other 10% is commercial work. So for brands and things like that. But yeah.
Do you think that you'll stay in this arena, or, what do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Yeah, for now, I would say yes, but eventually I would like to branch out to become more of an empowerment brand for kids. So we've started to kind of branch out into merchandise. Like we've started a back to school line. We have our calendars, we have other things. And so, it's kind of taking our art and extending the brand to become more of an empowerment brand for kids. Yeah, I think there are so many things that we kind of have in our brain in terms of, places that we want to do, things that we want to do with that. And so I think there's a wide variety of things that we can do there in the future, but still kind of stay true to our brand.
It's really interesting that parents seek this type of photography out, not just because it's beautiful, but even in the age of social media and selfies and Instagram,
Yes.
Everyone feels like they can do some of this kind of work.
Right.
And my oldest stepdaughter does photography. And when she was a senior in high school, people were paying her. Like she would do photo shoots in our house. And I was like, wow, like despite them doing their selfies, they still, I think the selfies have pushed them to want something even more. These elaborate, because she would do the like hair, like it would be wigs, it would be all sorts of things with teenagers.
Yes. And we, whenever we talk to photographers, we always tell them that, if you can provide something that's unique and different for your clients, then they're going to seek it out. I'm never, afraid of an iPhone, right? Because I know that, we're giving them an experience that they're not able to get with that. We've had, just tremendous success this year, despite all of the COVID restrictions. Our business has actually grown. And what happened was that a lot of parents were not able to have the traditional birthday parties for their kids. So they're actually booking us for birthdays for the kids. And so that's something that, we didn't even think of, right? But I would say probably about 70 to 75% of our shoots this year have been birthday experiences for kids. So, yes, it's definitely been something that, I think people are just hungry for that experience, and they want their kids to be able to see themselves in a different light.
What has the reception to the book been like?
Oh my gosh.
It's been
crazy.
Great,
Amazing. I was, honestly, just as artists, we were just nervous about people, what people would think and how they would see the book. But gosh, just seeing people, I said we were going to get kicked out of Target stores. Like just people were in the aisles in Target and, just going to different stores and buying the book and sharing it on social media. Kids, I just had a father yesterday who shared a picture that we took of his newborn baby. This was probably about 9 years ago, probably about 9 or 10 years ago. And now he shared a picture of his daughter holding the glory book, right? And, just to be able to see that, like people have just been so positive in terms of the feedback that they've given us about the book. And not only just kids, but kids and adults alike, right? Like I think, some of the adults as well are, giving us feedback that, it's inspiring for them as well.
Great. Well, I'm going to bring our cover model in right now, Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee.
Hey, Kaylee.
Oh, I think she's still muted.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, so can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your grade, where you live?
So I've been at home and we have been doing e-learning, and the teachers have been trying to start activities so kids can kind of start getting used to it. And then once we go back to school, everybody is gonna start getting used to that as well, like social distancing and stuff like that.
And what grade are you in?
I'm in 5th grade.
Okay. What's it like seeing yourself on this book cover?
I feel really proud because like I've never made such a big accomplishment, and it's been really fun working with you guys, and the photo shoot was amazing. I loved all of the accessories and the hairstyles, and really everything about it was very exciting.
Well, I imagine that a lot of the audience wants to know what it's like to be behind the scenes. Can you tell us what it's like to get the makeup and how the Bethencourts do their photo shoots?
So there's a lot of accessories, and of course you get makeup and hair, and they have beautiful clothes. And really, it's just about having fun, and they make you feel very comfortable, so you aren't too nervous. Because I know when I was nervous, they really loosened me up, and it turned out to be very amazing.
How did they loosen you up?
So basically, it's like I was like really scared because I've never really done such a big photo shoot like that. And they had cheered me up, and they were making jokes and just really just being like not really like professional, but having fun with me.
How did you all find Kaylee?
Rocked her shoot, okay?
Right.
She's being very humble, but she
Right.
rocked her shoot.
How did you all connect with Kaylee?
They actually were one of our Chicago sessions. It was a session, just a regular session when we came to Chicago, and we just absolutely loved the shots that we captured of her. I mean, there was something like that day when we were capturing all the shots and seeing her transformation, and she has this, she had this calm but regal presence to her. Even the designer that day was there. We were in Chicago, and she was just like, "Oh my gosh, like this girl."
It's like they're so
And she
quiet, but they have this presence that stands 10 feet tall.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I love that about her. So yeah, it was really fun. We captured so many amazing shots of her that day.
Kaylee, whose idea was it to do this shoot? Was it yours or your dad's?
So I've kind of always wanted to do a photo shoot, because like a big photo shoot and go all out, especially with them. And me and my dad were starting to plan stuff, really thinking about different people, but they really stood out to me the most. Because I just love the way that they captured people and the way that they made people look so beautiful.
Aw, that's awesome.
Have your friends seen the book? Do they know that you're a cover star?
So yeah, my friend has seen the book, because I know that she has a book as well. So we kind of be like supporting each other. A lot of my friends kind of know that I've been modeling or doing some type of, photo things. So they've always been very supportive.
And what do you like to do for fun?
So I like to like kind of sing, and I love to watch online tutorials on how to like draw and stuff. And me and my mom go on different apps and look at crafts and stuff like that. And I love going outside and playing sports.
What sports do you play?
I play things like basketball, soccer, and I play a little bit of volleyball when we have it in like school, because we play sports in school as well. So yeah.
Great. Well, I see a ton of questions that are coming in. So I'm going to turn it over to Lonnie to see how many we can get through.
Hi, that was great. Love seeing all those photos at the start, Karan and Regis, so beautiful. And Kaylee, thank you so much for taking time out of your night to join us. I'm sure the attendees have benefited from listening to you. All right, so I'm gonna whip through a couple here. I think I'm not gonna make any presumptions, Natalie Yvonne Moore, but there is a question here from Yvonne Moore. You are muted, FYI.
Yes, that would be my mother who's on here. I would
Of course, we're going to.
I didn't know she was coming tonight.
We're going to lead with her question because it's an excellent question, which is, have you thought about a future book of senior women and men all dressed up?
Okay.
I
So
love
Mom put
that.
us on the spot.
Right.
So the funny thing, Mom, is that we usually don't photograph adults. We love kids. However, we've always said that if we were to ever do adults, it would be seniors. So, there's a glimmer of hope. Yeah, so it would either be, if it's not kids, it would be seniors, people above 55 or 60. Yeah.
I want to make one plug before I go to the next question. I want to make a plug that the Bethencourt's calendar, just in time for the holidays, has dropped today.
Yes.
Put a link into the chat. These links will all be included in the video when we send out the recording link, so you'll get it there too. But it just dropped today, so take a look at that. Now, next question. There were two questions that had to do with boys in particular. From Lydia, she asked, are there themes that you are interested in that would be interesting to explore relative to boys and young men. And then likewise, Jason asked that he has 2 Black sons. How would you suggest we introduce them to the book? And what type of discussion might you suggest to engage them? So kind of how do you engage boys? And then are there themes for photography that you're thinking about for boys in particular?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One of the things I would say, whether it's boys or girls, I actually, when I look at our Glory book, I intended it for it to be a family book. And for, I see families kind of sitting around the table and going through some of the stories together, right? So reading through some of the stories, letting the kids read through some of the stories, asking questions, I think that it kind of starts the dialogue, whether it's, hey, this little girl is into neuroscience. How can I get into that? Or, talking about some of the deeper stories. I think that there are so many conversations that you can have. So I would definitely suggest, just kind of having it as a family book and talking to them together. In terms of themes with boys, I think, gosh, there's so many different things that we can do. We've done a series a while ago called Dapper Little Gents, where we did little boys all dressed up in suits. We've done some other themes. I really would like to do something with like Afrofuturism, just focused on boys. I think that would be really cool. I think that would give us an outlet to play around with a lot of things, whether it's superheroes or, just some items that are fantasy. I love the idea of possibly doing that.
We have a question from Dino. He wants to know, what do you do with the costumes after the shoot? I can see them being displayed at the National Museum of African American Culture and History, !
Listen,
that museum is downstairs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not gonna.
The whole bottom
Yeah,
floor.
I was gonna say we're not gonna pan around because we have, oh my gosh, just too many clothes.
Even the room we're in is like a stored room.
Yeah, like we have just tons of clothes, and honestly, some of them are just too sentimental for us to get rid of. And so we end up keeping them. I actually started a page where I said I was going to sell some eventually, and we just haven't gotten around to it. But eventually one day we're going to sell some off.
Hoarders, so.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're just about the point where you need to staff up. You need
that's right. For sure.
There's a question from Cynthia. She asks, she loves your book and she wants to know, do you have a preference for digital or film when you're doing photography?
Well, I've only done digital. Reg has done film and digital.
But in terms of just being able to edit and, correcting mistakes that you made in camera, I've always chosen digital.
Yeah, even though I like the effects of film, I think it looks really cool. Some people are amazing at it. I just, we kind of see the photograph sometimes as the original starting point, and then there are so many different things that we can do in post with it with digital.
Yeah, it's just strictly a preference.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a couple big fans here who are kind of wondering, so how can they get their hands on some of this? They want to put it on their walls. Are you represented by any galleries? How does somebody buy so that they can hang in their home?
Yes, so we actually are represented by Arnika Dawkins Gallery. And
could you spell that for us?
Yes, Arnika, A-R-N-I-K, and let me make sure, N-I-K-A.
N-I-K-A,
and then the last name is Dawkins, D-A-W-K-I-N-S.
Okay. And they're in Atlanta?
Atlanta, Georgia. So yeah, that's for like our fine art prints, like the large ones. But we also sell smaller prints on our website.
I want to get that down fast as we're running out of time, so I didn't have time to look up the link, but at least you have it there in chat. We'll put the link once we send out the video. Okay, let's see. Julie asked a couple questions. So Julie wants to know, how much input did the children have in the creativity of the photo shoot regarding hair, makeup, clothing, etc.?
So we really try to give them an outlet in terms of just the overall shoot. So if they say they want to be a superhero, then it's really our team kind of coming up with, what does that superhero look like based off of, they're giving us kind of high level overview, not really down into the details of hair and everything else. And the reason why I do that is because our team, really comes up with some things that I could ever even think of, right? And so I don't even really give my team specifics in terms of I want this specific hairstyle because, Shauna is able to come up with, just amazing pieces that I would never, ever think of.
Yeah.
So I like to let creatives, create and us just kind of give them the high level theme or mood board.
Yeah, we used to start off where we would give everybody the ideas, but now we kind of work like one brain.
Yeah, and everyone's just kind of really creating together and collaborating. I think, it's allowed us to get much more creative.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nakia asked, did you capture any children during the protests this summer? Did you any photography during the protests?
Yeah, we didn't actually. I think we were still kind of in quarantine mode during that time. So yeah, we didn't get a chance to.
Okay, and then let's see. Debbie is asking, tell us about one of your favorite photo shoots and what made it so memorable.
Gosh,
I know that's probably
we always say that's like kind of choosing one of your own kids, right?
Yeah, for sure.
However, we always say that one of our most memorable photo shoots is actually our roller skate girls photo shoot, and that was around 2014. And ironically, it was a very simple shoot. Like, we had no hairstylists, no makeup artists, anything. It was just us kids. Reg painted some roller skates, but it was just just kind of capturing and celebrating, the spirit of kids, roller skating back in the day. And that particular shoot is actually what, transformed our business. I think, like, on social media, on Instagram, we went from about 2,000 followers to about 20,000 in a month over that one particular shoot. And this was a personal shoot that we just did for fun, right? And so I think, as photographers, it kind of showed us that we didn't need a whole lot, just some passion and creativity. And we, if had fun with the kids as well. So yeah, that's definitely something that we'll always remember.
And it's also symbolic of if you be yourself and within what you do, the people will come,
Yeah.
And all the opportunities.
Yep.
All right, and then Kaylee, as we go to close out here, got about 1 more minute. Somebody's also asking, please make some backpacks. They want some more backpacks, more backpacks.
Yes, we have some on our website. We need to do a new collection next year, but we still have some available on our website.
And they're saying especially for the boys.
Yes, we have boys as well.
Okay, I want to make sure I get to that. And then Kaylee, do you have any last questions for anybody or any last statements that you want to give us as we close out?
So I did want to close out that I'm honored to be on the cover of the best book that shows Black beauty. Everyone was great and made the book perfect. This book gives inspiration not only to myself, but to Black kids all around the world.
Oh my gosh, Kaylee. I wish I could give you a big virtual hug right now. Oh my goodness.
And to anyone,
it was amazing to work with you. The pleasure was all ours. Yeah, I can't wait to see you again in Chicago, hopefully early next year.
Wait, hold on. She's saying something. Go ahead, Kaylee, say it.
And to anyone who wants to contact me on Instagram, make sure you follow kaylee.autumn.hope.
Yes.
We'll make sure that we include that when we send out the recording link. We'll include your Instagram tag. We'll make sure we do that. Natalie, any last comments from you before we say goodbye to everyone?
I think Kaylee wrapped it up nicely.
Yes, she did. All right. Thank you, Natalie, for your service. Kaylee, thank you so much for agreeing to come. And Kahran and Regis, thank you so much. And for those of you who have gotten a copy of Glory, we're going to be starting After Hours in about 5 minutes. We're going to take a quick bio break here. So get your After Hours link, and we can't wait to see you all. Everybody here you see on screen will be in After Hours as well. So have a good night, and we'll see you on Wednesday with Rosalind Wiseman. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.